I am sorry, Naruto, but the answer is still no.
He killed one of your ninja in cold blood and you're just going to let him walk around the village?
I understand you're upset, but Gaara broke no laws. If we act against him, then as far as the world is concerned, we'd be the aggressors.
Then be sneaky about it. We're ninja for fuck's sake.
Hiruzen almost reflexively berated Naruto for her language, but ultimately decided to let it go considering the circumstances. We've looked into Gaara. His automatic defense and his insomnia makes it unlikely we'd get the job done before a commotion was raised. And with us having such a clear motive, the risks are too great. Hiruzen could tell Naruto only barely managed to hold herself back from snapping at him. Then it's up to me to kill him in the finals. The same rules as in the preliminaries will apply, which means that if Gaara has clearly lost, the match will be called. Making it look like an accident, even under those circumstances, will be almost impossible. Naruto simmered quietly. She wanted to tell the third Hokage just how little she cared about the tournament's rules, but she also didn't want to get herself disqualified. I understand, Lord Hokage. May I go? Before you go, there is something I want to say. It wasn't Hiruzen who spoke. Jiraiya had been in the room the whole time, listening into the conversation. Normally, Naruto would be in awe over meeting such a legendary ninja, but right now she found she didn't really care unless he could help her kill Gaara. I agreed to meet you at the old man's request. No doubt he wants me to train you. The third Hokage's face betrayed nothing. And I've heard good things about you, but hearing is one thing and seeing is something else entirely. Naruto bowed respectfully, seeing a golden opportunity. I'll gladly prove myself to you if it gets me a chance to become your student, Lord Jiraiya. That's not what I meant, kid. There are many good reasons to want to become stronger, but revenge isn't one of them. If you are to learn under me, I need you to let go of this hatred you're feeling right now. There's too much of that in the world as it is. Naruto considered lying, but doubted that would work. Then I am wasting your time, Lord Jiraiya. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go train. Kid, Naruto, please. I knew your parents, and this isn't what they'd want for you. Well, screw what my parents would have thought. Now you listen here, kid, Jiraiya said, now getting angry himself. They were some of the best people I've ever known and deserve your respect. Why? What did they ever do for me except die? Dying is easy. We're shinobi. Dying is something we're all supposed to be very good at, right? Ino was more of a parent to me than they ever were. Naruto stood up from her chair. I'll be out preparing for my fight with Gaara. If you can help me with that, I'll be grateful. If not, sod off. And without waiting for anyone's permission, she stormed out of the room and slammed the door shut behind her. Jiraiya and Hiruzen watched the door in silence for a few seconds. She doesn't mean it. She's understandably hurt and angry and it's making her lash out, Hiruzen said. I know, but it doesn't change anything. I spent most of my life trying to find a way to end the cycle of violence that permeates our world. I'm not willing to add to it, not even for Minato's child. I'm sorry, old man. Hiruzen stared at Jiraiya long enough for the latter to start fidgeting, feeling like he was back to being a genin being lectured. Are you never going to claim responsibility as her godfather? A wave of guilt hit Jiraiya, but it was an old and familiar emotion and he tried to ignore it as he always did. When Naruto exited the building, she was immediately greeted by Sakura grabbing her arm. So what happened? They'll do nothing. Sakura, who knew the laws far better than Naruto, had feared that would be the case. Then you have to forfeit your match. What? And let that monster go? I want him to pay as much as you, but I'm not willing to risk your life to make it happen. I've just lost one of my best friends. I don't want to risk the other one. I can't. I can't rest while that thing is still walking around. Naruto, please, this isn't worth your life. Then you didn't love Ino the way I love the two of you. Sakura let go of Naruto's arm and looked as if she had just been slapped. That's not true. Naruto sighed. I'm sorry, Sakura. That wasn't worthy of me. But I have to do this. And I'm not suicidal. I'm not just going to throw my life away. That's exactly what Ino said! Sakura yelled. I'm begging you, Naruto, Naruto didn't seem inclined to listen to anything more as she body flickered away. Hinata knew she would have to answer for her actions in the Chunin exams. The Hyuga family liked to at least pretend that the rule of the main family was benevolent. Obedience and respect was demanded, yet in return, the main family is supposed to look out for the interest of the whole clan. The cursed seal was supposed to make sure the whole family acted as one, to the betterment of all its members. Hinata's use of the cursed seal on Neji flew in the face of that, and so she was called to answer in front of a family tribunal, comprising of all the most respected members of their family, side and main branch both. All of them looked at her with expressions ranging from disapproving to outright disgust. Yet somehow, Hinata found it hard to care about their opinions. We all heard about how you won against Neji, her father said to her. Neji was also present, sitting to the side. The Chunin exams are supposed to be a display of your own qualities as a ninja. There was a pause that stretched on for an awkwardly long time. Hinata was clearly supposed to justify herself, but she didn't really feel like it. If they wanted her to say something or ask her something, they should just do that. Hinata averted her eyes from her father and looked out the window. It really was a beautiful day outside. How exactly do you think you've displayed your qualities as a ninja by using the cursed seal to win? Her father eventually asked. Hinata shrugged. The shinobi is supposed to use all tools that are available in order to win. That's what we are taught at the academy. Why ignore such an obvious solution to my problem? One of the elders, main branch named Jiro, spoke up. The Chunin exams are an excellent opportunity to show the world what our clan can do. Neji could have impressed everyone. Instead we've got you now. What will you do once you face an opponent where you can't cheat to win? Hinata looked at Neji, who kept his face impassive, and then to the adult who had spoken. She adopted her most innocent smile. I'm sorry, Jiro-san, but Neji is a mere side branch. It is simply not his fate to upstage me. Angry mutters greeted her, and not just from the side branch members. Such blatant abuse of power wasn't okay, she knew. No, we are supposed to keep our abuses of power more subtle, so it's harder for someone to point and say, there, that is what's wrong. You tried to force me to acknowledge that our fate was unchangeable, Neji. This is the result. May you choke on your fate bullshit. Whatever has happened, her father said. You are in the finals now, and we must prepare you to make sure you do not embarrass our clan. A training schedule will be prepared for you. I will be free on the weekends and the evenings, Hinata said. Hiyashi gaped at her for a moment. Free? Hiyashi said through gritted teeth. You have many flaws, Hinata, but I never thought laziness was one of them. You will be training 7 days a week from dawn till dusk, pausing only when we believe you are in need of rest. Long-time habit nearly forced Hinata to bow her head and meekly accept her father's decision. I'll always be their victim if I allow it. I'm a ninja, a legal adult. They can't force me. I'll be training with my team and with my Jonin sensei. You think they will be able to teach you better than us? Someone scoffed. Their training didn't allow you to match your own cousin, so don't pretend that you benefit more from training with Kakashi than here, learning the Hyuga style. The Hyuga style is the best taijutsu style in the world, Hinata said. But my first opponent is Sakura Haruno. My taijutsu is already superior to hers. If I lose to her, it won't be because my hand-to-hand wasn't good enough. Hinata thought she had really lucked out on her first match. Sakura was probably the only person in the exams she believed she had a very good chance of beating. And the second round? Someone asked. My second match will be with either Shino or Kankuro of the Sand Village. Again, my taijutsu is already superior to Shino's. Nobody has seen Kankuro fight, but I'll at least be able to get a good look at his jutsu before our fight. Anyway, I doubt my taijutsu skill will be the deciding factor. Unless I make it to the finals. And if I get that far, that should be enough for the honor of our clan. All the same, there is more to our clan jutsu than purely melee hand-to-hand combat, Hinata. But I doubt I'll be able to master any of those other moves before the exam anyway, Hinata thought. I trust my Jonin sensei to know what is best for me. She just hoped that what Kakashi thought was best for her would keep her far away from this place. There will be consequences if you embarrass us, Hinata, Hiyashi said. The threat of branding her with the cursed seal hung unspoken in the air. I know, Hinata said, and that was that. Naruto was getting tired of people telling her she should just forfeit her match with Gaara. Even Ino's parents had done so when Naruto had attended the funeral. That funeral had been the only thing she had deemed important enough that it merited pausing her training. Even sleep, Naruto didn't consider important enough. So what are your words of wisdom, Asuma-sensei? Do you think I should quit? Or are you actually planning on being useful and help me get stronger? Asuma didn't get angry. Hell, he wasn't even smoking this time. That was a first. Do you think you're the only ninja who's ever lost someone? Of course not. She had seen that Ino's parents were hurt at least as much as she was. But this isn't about me, it's about not letting that thing get away with what he did. Oh, but it is about you. Which do you think is more important, killing Gaara? Naruto shivered. Even hearing that name almost seemed to cause her pain. Or protecting Sakura? Protecting Sakura, Naruto answered immediately. Precisely, because you care about her just like she and others care about you. Which is exactly why you should forfeit. Do you even have a plan to win, let alone succeed in your goal of killing your opponent? No, which is why you should help me. I can't help you, because I don't think even I could beat Gaara. I have no way to get past that sand. Asuma sighed. I can tell that telling you to quit would be pointless, but just please promise me this. If you don't come up with a sure way to beat Gaara, then don't show up. We can't afford to lose you. Yes, I guess having Konoha's Jinchuriki die would be inconvenient. We can't afford to lose you, because that would destroy Sakura. Hell, it would destroy me. We care about you, Naruto, so please, I am begging you. Promise us you won't fight Gaara, unless you have a damn good reason to believe you'll survive it. She really couldn't imagine herself quitting. But at the same time, there was only one way to respond to this. Her shoulders sagged. I promise. Thank you, Naruto. Now if there's anything you need, you know where to find me. I was actually planning to teach Sasuke this month, Kakashi said. His style of fighting more closely resembles mine. He, surprisingly, has the same lightning affinity as me. There's a lot he can learn from me. That wasn't what Hinata wanted to hear. Please don't pretend like you can't train more than one person at a time, Kakashi-sensei. If Kakashi didn't want to train her, he should just say that. True, but first you might want to tell me what it is you want to learn in this month. My taijutsu is good enough to handle anyone but Sasuke. Maybe I could use some long-range options? And by long-range options, Hinata was referring to ninjutsu. Then you should train your accuracy with throwing weapons. I'm sure I could find someone if you don't want to spend time with your clan. Why can't I have you? Hinata hated how whiny that sounded. Because I want you to have the best teacher I can get you, and that isn't me. Kakashi rubbed his hair. I'm gifted, Hinata. I'm not boasting, Hinata, but it's just true. I was a Jonin at 10. Some of that is due to my early graduation, but well, I've always understood shinobi arts better than my peers. I don't really know how to teach someone who's... Kakashi didn't seem able to find the words, so Hinata decided to help him. Someone who doesn't have talent. Someone who really has to work for it. Really, what you have achieved in such a short time with us is remarkable. I actually kind of admire... Spare me. Hinata cut him off and looked at the ground. The words didn't sound angry, just tired and resigned. Hinata, you are one of the most promising ninja of your generation, Kakashi said, putting his hands on her shoulder and crouched down so he was at eye level with her. Yes, I won't lie. There are a handful of people like Naruto and Sasuke that do have more potential than you. And Neji, Hinata adds in her head. And that's only if you measure a shinobi's worth purely by their combat potential, which you shouldn't do. And even if you do use that measure, that still leaves most of the village getting that you could absolutely trash if you keep working as you have. Kakashi took a deep breath. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people in any event. So long as you keep trying to become the best kunoichi you can be, you have every reason to be proud. Just like I'm proud of you already. It's kind of difficult for me to understand how you can't see your own value when it's so blatantly obvious to me. Hinata leaned forward until her head rested against Kakashi's chest, and he awkwardly put his arms around her. Damn it, she wasn't going to cry. She was done with that. What kind of teacher did you have in mind for me? His name is Ibisu, and he owes me a favor. He's a special jonin who attained that rank purely because he was good at training other ninja. He's got a good grasp of all the basics and knows how to teach even the elements that he doesn't know himself. Whatever you want to focus on, whether ninja tools, taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, or even medical ninjutsu, or sealing jutsu, he knows how to get you started. Hinata was silent for a while and didn't move. She was in no particular hurry to leave his hug. I think I might like to try my hand at medical ninjutsu, Hinata eventually said. Kakashi pulled away so he could better talk to her. You are unlikely to learn anything immediately usable in the finals. Despite that, Kakashi didn't look opposed to the idea. To be honest, I don't really care about the finals, and I think that even as I am, I could beat Sakura. You shouldn't underestimate your opponent, Kakashi warns her. And winning your first match may not be enough to get you qualified for Chunin. I know, Hinata said. She knew, and she just didn't care. Besides, she wanted to turn over a new leaf and try something new, hence medical ninjutsu. She tried to imagine her family's reaction to her eschewing learning more of the Hyuga's techniques in favor of medical skills. The thought brought a smile to her face. One more thing, Hinata, Kakashi said, and he looked hesitant. About what happened in the preliminaries. I think we need to talk about that. Funny, because I don't think we need to, Hinata said. I used a cheap, underhanded and outright dishonorable method to win, and I know it. It's done and over, and I can't change it. Know what I want to, Hinata adds in her head. Yes, but I worry more about why you did it. It just seemed, well, out of character for you. You've told me often enough that I should stand up for myself, Kakashi-sensei. But it's hard to stand up to someone who's so much better than you. I couldn't think of any other way to win, I'm sorry. I just worry that might not have been entirely, well, you, Kakashi said. Hinata's hand went to her neck to cover her sealed curse mark. I haven't used it, Kakashi-sensei. I know you haven't, but there is much we don't know about this thing. The seal I placed on it should prevent it from activating so long as your will remains strong. But there may be more subtle workings to it that I haven't foreseen. Just please, be careful. I will. Naruto suspected it had been 4 days since she'd last slept, but it was hard to be sure. Time just seemed to blur together after a while. Every time she thought about sleeping, she thought of either Ino or Gaara, and that always allowed her to squeeze just a little more energy out of her tiring body and continue her training. The training field she had chosen was littered with shredded trees and tree trunks with visible marks where she had been punching them. People had come to her several times, telling her to take it easy, but they just didn't understand. She insisted that she was getting enough food and sleep until they went away. She was so tired, she didn't even notice the new arrival until he spoke up not 2 meters away from her. You look terrible. Naruto looked and found Sasuke staring at her. She decided to ignore him and continue practicing maneuvering her hair. If Sasuke wanted to waste his breath, just like everybody else, that was his business. Maybe she could make her hair dig and pierce through the ground and so maybe get past the sand. She imagined her hair piercing from beneath the ground, getting behind Gaara's shield of sand, wrapping itself around Gaara's neck. Then just a little bit of wind chakra to make her hair sharp as a razor. Pull, and then justice. It wasn't going very well. By now concentrating was so hard she could barely form any wind chakra at all. It's funny. Sakura finally manages to force me to take her out on a date, and when she does so, all she can do is cry over Ino and worry about you. Sasuke paused as if expecting Naruto to say something. She didn't. She begged me to come and talk some sense into you, Sasuke continued eventually. Though why she thought you'd listen to me more than her is beyond me. We're hardly that close, despite your best attempts to stalk me. Another pause, and again Naruto ignored him. Sasuke sighed. Look, I know how you feel. Naruto chuckles bitterly. People keep saying that, yet if that's true, they wouldn't be trying to talk sense into me as you called it. Sasuke hums and then starts talking. Every time you close your eyes, you see the bodies. They say it's hard to let go of your hate, but they are wrong. It would be easy, and that's the problem. It would be oh so easy to let that fire go out, and you know that if it does, it will be weaker the next time you summon it, so you nurture it instead. Naruto finally looks at Sasuke. He wasn't looking at her, instead he looked at a point over her shoulder, gazing into nothingness. They say they'd want you to be happy, as if you don't know that. They loved you, so of course they'd want you to be happy. They start to think you're this way because you just want to be angry. What a joke. Who would ever choose this? But you know that if you allow yourself to be happy, you'll start to care less about your quest, and you can't afford that. You didn't want this burden. You want the whole world to rise up in protest, to raise an army if that's what it takes to bring him to justice. Yet nobody does. For most, life just seems to go on. So if not you, then who? During those times you're not thinking of the dead, you're thinking of him. You're wondering what he is doing right now. Do you think he's just quietly drinking tea somewhere? Do you picture him retiring after destroying your whole world? Of course not. Men like that don't just stop. They are like a cancer upon the very earth. They make the world a worse place for as long as they exist. How can you possibly live with yourself, trying to live a normal life again, knowing that that thing is still out there somewhere? Destroying more lives, creating even more pain. And you, pathetic as you are, seems to be the best hope there is of stopping him. So how can you possibly calm down, as they say? How can you allow yourself to be happy? Fuck, you can't even allow yourself to grieve properly. For grieving will be working through the pain, and you need that pain just to keep going. Don't you? Sasuke finally looks at her. So how close am I? Naruto just blinks at him, unable to form words for a while. Sasuke shrugs, turns, and starts to walk away. Naruto stops him by grabbing the sleeves of his shirt. He turns to look at her again, and raises an eyebrow. Sasuke, It still took a few seconds for her to come up with something to say. The day will come where you and I can both be happy again. Yes. Sasuke says that one word almost more to himself than to her. Alright, I'm walking you home. My home. You need to sleep. You won't become stronger by training yourself into the hospital. Trust me, I know that from experience. You're coming with me. You're going to crawl into bed. I got a spare mattress for myself, don't worry. And stay there for at least 10 hours. In the morning, after eating the most healthy breakfast of your life, you will resume your training. Sasuke starts to lead her back to his house, and Naruto lets him do so. And that's where we're going to leave things for now. Nike's out.